A very good day to you and welcome to another interesting episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Remember, this is Kenya's most comprehensive political analysis show. Of course, we always look into everything taking place in this country and of course outside the country. And we are more than glad to bring you up to date with detailed information on the same. Well, my name is Evan Sokinyi and I'm so glad that you're here with us for this candid conversation with Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Oh, fine. Very fine.
Let's talk matters police and the people relations. Definitely after the demonstrations that we witnessed, the run-ins therein and how the police force handled the entire demonstrations that were there in the sentiments that came in, a lot of people have come to question the relationship between the police and the people. And I would like us to begin from here, going by how he handled recent demonstrations and even his sentiments regarding the victims of police brutality that we witnessed. Would you say that the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, has gone rogue, as the media the other day wrote in one of the dailies, the making of a rogue police boss?
I don't think he's gone rogue. But I think Koome, there must be a number of things to explain. One, Koome could be taking orders from his political leaders.
Okay.
And seeing the way they're agitated and taking a cue from them and his reaction and pronouncements correspond roughly to those of the big boys under whom he serves. Secondly, the police are also taking the heat from this thing.
Okay.
The heat not to mean the stones and the heat. The environment is very polluted, highly charged, and the police find themselves at the center of these things. So like everybody else who is concerned, they are taking the heat. Number three, which is psychological, the police are also going through some sort of trauma. Having to find themselves doing things which perhaps would go against their better judgment. And finally, you can understand Koome's behavior and talk. You can understand it by also seeing it in line of what sort of police do we have. It is obvious and it is true and is good that the policeman of today is not the policeman of 10, 20, 30 years ago. There has been tremendous improvement, especially in the way the police relate with the public, and even the way they do some of their things. But the truth still is that they are far from being anywhere near what a police service should be. They are still far. A lot has been achieved, but we are not even halfway. So even in terms of management of some commotion, just some small commotion, just look, whether it's even not political, even a very small thing, you see a tear gas. So some women were saying, I saw on TV, we are just here asking very innocent questions about dust. And somebody throws tear gas at us. You can't even see these are old women. So the police still have far to go in terms of training. We have done a lot, but the police still, the top leadership of the police and the country, the government, still think a policeman is 95% marching and shouting, home, home. No. That's a very small part of a policeman's training. Okay? So we need to improve the training. We need to equip our policemen with modern skills, crowd control. We need to equip the police better. We need to make the police mobile. And above all, even when a policeman is having to deal with the demonstrators, with the tear gas, you know, you throw the tear gas, but you also inhale it. You don't quite protect yourself that well. And stones also fly and come your way. At what pay? So when you put all these factors, that policeman is also going through trauma. He even hates himself sometimes. Because he's doing all this, and when he goes, the pay slip comes, wamedondoa kamshahara kamebaki shilingi 5,000. And he has a family. Because his family salary is maybe 30,000 or less. Ka cooperative kidogo hapa, housing levy kidogo hapa, sijui nini hapa, imebaki 6,000, 5,000. Ako na mtoto, ako na bibi, mtoto anaenda ama ako na bwana. So all these factors contribute, you know. And the police in many other areas. You've seen police being called on an accident scene or something has happened. Bodies have been, a body even decomposed. The police go there with one vehicle. The body is put in the vehicle and the police enter the same vehicle.
Okay.
And these are human beings. So there's so much we can still do. Like we need a fully fledged department. Pathology, there's a name Americans like. Not homicide, there's something department. So that if there is some body somewhere, in an accident or what, or shot or things, or found hanging or whatever, the police go there, but there's a fully fledged department handling bodies with their own vehicle. So the police are there to witness, to record what has happened, but then those other experts take that body, put in their own in the vehicle because they are trained to handle dead bodies. And they put the body where it's supposed to be in a morgue. And the police continue. But you know, so the police are working under a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Yes.
Prof, let's get here. You've just intimated back there that perhaps the Inspector General of Police would be working under some sort of political influence. And then now my question therefore comes, because this puts us in a very dangerous situation as a country when the police service can be compromised in such kind of a manner. What does it take for us to differentiate between policing and politics?
Those are just terms people use, but you just be simple. What is the role of a policeman or a policewoman? To ensure there is law and order. And citizens are safe. Safe from many things.
How do they operate without being influenced by political leaders?
That's what I'm saying. First, we need good training. And training does not just mean what you get at Kiganjo or somewhere else. It is the entry level. Who are the people we must train as policemen? This country has more than enough graduates today. So that policemen, policewomen, teachers, it should not be anybody who doesn't have a university degree. Of course, we shall do a bit of formative action. Otherwise, some areas will never get. But generally speaking, entry level education for a police person should be from a degree level. Then it's easier to train that person. When the persons are trained well, they can stand their ground. If you have many of the people, highly qualified, intelligent young men and women, who join the police not because they have lacked what to do, because that's where they want to go, and they have various trainings at university level, and the training at the police is a good training, and they are paid well, and they are all over. They are running police stations, they are OCS, they are things. They can ignore bad orders. Yeah.
So you think that such kind of people would ignore? How is that possible?
It's possible.
They are trained in a manner like that.
It's training. Why do you think in the army, can you go in the army and just tell them to do anything and they do? It's a question of training also.
They can stand their ground.
It's a question of training. It's a question of how you appreciate them, how you pay them. It's a question of tradition. The army has a tradition of discipline, of doing their things.
But if the commander says do this,
they know their parameters. They also know their parameters. By the time the commander says do this, the constitution will allow the commander to say it. But he can't just wake up one day and tell the army go. They will refuse.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not saying they refuse in the manner in which it must be taken. It could be taken. But I'm saying, even how do you try? How do you start? How do you start just going to the barracks and tell him, "Tokena here and over to end up and up"? They will not. I mean, they even also have their own command, very clear. So, good training, good education for police before they are training. Good training will be one way of moving to a point where even the politicians will be afraid
to give them orders.
of giving police orders that are not really justified.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, going by the recent sentiments by the Inspector General of Police, therein, of course, this has actually soured the relationship between the people and the police right now. We witnessed recently when a DCI officer attached to one of the stations was shot dead in the night. And at that particular moment of that incident, you get to realize that people came on board, found the man lying there. Nobody even cared when they realized that he was a police officer. Looking at how these things are taking place, and of course even the wife got shot. What surprised me is that even a Land Cruiser that was carrying police officers came and passed. People were just crowded there until at the end of the day this Kenyan lost his life. The wife is still fighting for her life in the hospital. So are we witnessing a situation whereby Kenyans can actually look at the police, find them in any kind of dire situation of need, and they fail to do anything because of the sour relationship between the people and the police? And how do we tackle all this?
Those are the things we must avoid. We must avoid creating an image of a policeman who is an enemy of the people.
Definitely.
And we must do everything possible as a country to ensure that people are happy to work with the police. Because how many policemen do we have? How many? About 110,000, 120, give or take. Those in active services, almost 60,000. The others are guarding big people. They are doing what? They are in specialized units. But the policemen, in total, they are about 110, 120, around there. Against a population of 50 million. Even if you look at 30 million adults, 35 million or so, the police are not enough. Is that right? And therefore, the people must work with the police. And for that to happen, the people must not see the police as animals. So some people are dehumanizing the police and may want to make the police do certain things that will lead the citizens into feeling that the police are not good partners. There are people which, if you met at night and you had a rungu, you'd break their skull. That's not how it should be. The police must work with the people. In any country, there's no country that has sufficient numbers of policemen to be there everywhere. No. And people must always appreciate. People appreciate even in this country. I always argued, when people say the police are useless, I tell them, okay, let's give police leave for 1 week. Let's see how far you'll go. People appreciate that bit. But politicians can mess the good relationship between the police and the public by making the police do certain things that move the people from them. Yeah.
So do you think that perhaps the kind of statements that we had from the Inspector General of Police regarding the deaths that we witnessed?
Those are the things I said. I'm not a politician.
Can they feel that kind of bad relationship between the people?
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, surely, that's obvious. I mean, surely, people who have lost loved ones from what is believed to be police bullets, people witness the police bajooning people, beating people like animals, people who saw police shooting, people who saw people who we are told are policemen in special compact doing what they did in Kitengela, people who saw police in plain clothes with those Subarus. They cannot be happy with what the Kome was saying. And that's why I said, I'm not a politician. And I only urge the Inspector General just to apologize to the people of Kenya. We are human beings. At the heat of the moment, you can find yourself saying things. All it takes is just an apology. To apologize to the people of Kenya. I don't say he must resign like others are saying. But in my view, an apology from the Inspector General to the people of Kenya is good, it's necessary. Yes.
But staging a war of the people versus the police definitely
because it's not
sustainable.
It's not a war you can win. I've given you the police in this country. It's public knowledge. It's not that there's no secret I have. I know we are about 110 or so, and active compact. They're almost 60% of that. The rest are doing things special as GSU. What? You remove these installations of what? Critical installations, buildings, what have you, and others guarding VIP and the rest. So the police available for normal police duties, they are hardly enough to handle even one 3 counties.
So this is a war they can't win.
They can't. You can't win a war by putting the police against the people.
Would you then advise the IG that
That's
it's
why
high time?
I'm even suggesting, for starters, let's ban the use of tear gas. Let the police learn how to deal with things minus tear gas. Yes.
Okay.
Let's start it there. Let's just say if we have no tear gas, we shall not order any more tear gas. The ones we have, let's destroy. Let the police learn to handle this thing without live bullets, without tear gas.
Do you think the
It
government...
will be a good starting point for the police to train in what is called crowd management. Because like I think, like I've seen, I don't know whether they were Americans or what, there is another gun I saw during the bomb blast. I asked myself, I know these the things, are these not the things I see on, in films, kwa cinema? Then I was told this is an anti-personnel gun. Ask how does it work? I was told if you fire whatever comes from this gun, the noise itself, the sound, and the impact of that rubber on the ground, the dust it will raise, is sufficient to scatter everybody away. It's quite a while back, 98. I don't know whether I'm remembering well. So there must be other way. Because now, if we remove the police away from tear gas, and with no live bullets, they will learn how else can we control the crowds. How else? Because we must never, ever again allow live bullet in crowd management.
Do you think the government of the day should be worried about the bad blood that we're witnessing between the people and the police?
Of course, the government should be worried. Why? Because the police are critical in the maintenance of law and order. And in this place, law and order is what we need to live as civil as human beings, as opposed to animals.
Okay.
So that critical element in the maintenance of law and order, which is critical for orderly society, if you render it useless, where are we taking ourselves? If people get to a point where they don't value policemen, where they beat policemen, where they chase policemen if they see them, where they ban police vehicles, so are we really still remaining a country? No, then you are inviting even serious problems to the country. So we need the police to be there to do their job. We need the people to relate well with the police. And we need a well-trained police force to know its role. And like I was saying, we need a police that is well-trained, well-equipped. Equipped including training, equipped even with social skills. There's a video that went viral, you people call it viral, during the post-election violence of 2007, if I'm not wrong, 2008 there, of a young GSU officer, talking to the crowd. The crowd had stones and everything and the crude weapons, but he chose to talk to them. That video is enduring up to this day. He told them, hii Kenya tumejenga hii siku yote. If I can paraphrase, hii Kenya tumejenga siku hizi zote. Tunaweza kuibomoa na siku moja. A GSU, young GSU officer, that this Kenya we have taken this long to build. We can destroy this country one day. That video went, and I think that officer was decorated or something like that. So there are soft skills you can also use. You see? There are maneuver and tactical skills the police should have. And these are the things I'm saying they should need to get in a new training model.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Of course, bad blood or bad relationship between the people and the police would be the worst way, or rather, of destroying a country. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not want to go there. And so I hope the Inspector General of Police is listening. Ladies and gentlemen, if at all you're watching us for the first time, please subscribe to our channel here. And of course, stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next year. Jadel Kabiro, Richard Mwenje is always here with very comprehensive analysis of matters, economy, and of course, politics as well. My name is Evan Sokenyi. Till we have this conversation again, thank you for watching.